All right, everybody, welcome into the Pillow Talk edition. That's the second of two streams that we do every day here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. The first one typically is a Monday through Friday noon show. It's just me. It's called High Noon. We do topics and current events, anything that's trending. If it's happening in the world and people are talking about it, then we'll get into that at High Noon. This one, the second stream of the day, this one comes to you every Monday through Thursday evening, 9 p.m., also Central Standard Time. This one is Pugs and Parker because it's myself, Pugs, and James Parker. Look at him. Oh, would you look at him? I figure out how to do this.
Hey, kids.
Work a little bit better.
How we doing?
I'm just fixing my camera. That's all.
Okay.
All right. So do we have you for at least
you do, and I'm so sorry about yesterday, man. I am so. I know. Look, Terry's already giving me crap. Is James going to abruptly leave tonight? No, but you saw me take the call. I just muted my microphone, and that was my wife. She was out with some friends, and she was like, "Hey, we're on our way home. We'll be home in just a few minutes."
We were just all shocked. We didn't know if this was maybe an indicator of a greater play. Is there something larger afoot? Did you have a zonked out prostitute on the couch, and your wife was saying she was coming home early, and you had to get?
It was like in Pulp Fiction when he brings the criminal overlord's wife ODing to your living room. Yeah,
right.
And then we had to do the shot.
Was that Quentin Tarantino and his wife, the nurse, who was coming home from the hospital, and then everybody had to be gone from the house by the time she got home from she worked the overnight shift? Is that the scene that I'm thinking of?
Oh, no. I was thinking about when John Travolta brings in an ODing Uma Thurman, and he has to do the adrenaline shot through her breastplate, to the heart.
Yeah, that's Eric Stoltz. No, I was thinking of when they have to go. Never mind. It was the Harvey.
No, I know what you're talking about.
They get taken over to Quentin Tarantino's house, and
no one had their head blown off in the back of a car.
Yeah. All right, very good.
No, I had.
Would you show that? Would you show that movie to your 13-year-old kid?
Nope.
Why not?
Nope. Just drugs and sex and a little gory and no.
13 though? I mean, what do you think? They don't know? Do you think your kid doesn't talk about sex with his friends on the playground? Do you think that he doesn't know about drugs? Do you think? I mean, aren't those good opportunities for you to have a conversation with your kid about?
Oh, he probably gets. They're probably getting plenty of sex talk that's right about on par for a 13-year-old. You don't really want to add too much more to it.
No, but you want to be there to answer the questions.
Sure. I'll answer the questions while we watch. I would watch The Big Lebowski before Pulp Fiction.
Are you as honest with your sons as you are with your daughters about sex, or is one easier than the other? Because
I mean, I'm equally as honest with them.
Really? I mean, I would think daughters would be a lot harder. I don't know why I'm chasing this rabbit. I just thought that.
Well, see, I don't know. Sex isn't so taboo out in the country because you always see animals having sex, and you have to explain where animals come from, or if someone's breeding some horses or dogs or goats or something. And so, I mean, sex is kind of a known entity. Yeah, animal husbandry. We get it.
I don't know. We talk about it all the time. How are you? How was your day? Did you get some thunderstorms out there in Tyler? Because
we did. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we didn't get them here, but we watched. No, it skirted off to your side of the Metroplex. Apparently there's something called the heat dome, which is over Dallas right now. And that the heat dome caused the thunderstorms that would have cooled us down. Really, man. And I can't remember the last time it rained around here. It rained for like 5 minutes a couple of days ago in the middle. But apparently the heat dome affects the cooler rain clouds from coming in over Dallas, Fort Worth.
Well, I'm just glad I didn't have to water my grass today. And it cooled it off. It was like in the 70s all day just because it was sprinkling.
You got any of those California grass restrictions out there? Or you pretty much use all the water you want?
Yeah, I mean, we might. I might. I don't follow. Keep up with it. How the hell should I know?
You're a Texan. That's not what you're here for. That's a California.
I do what I want.
Yeah,
I'm paying for the water, aren't I?
All right. What do you say we do a monologue? You want to start?
I'd love to do a monologue. I'm glad you said something. Yeah, because I have one prepared.
All right. Yeah, you sent it early today, which was very nice to see. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Comfort Nest Lounge high atop the 1%er compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. It is the nightly Pillow Talk edition of Pugs Parker. This is where we like to welcome well, yours and my favorite. He's a funny man known in all four corners of the globe. He is James Allen Parker.
Thank you. Oh, beautiful crowd. You guys, you're great. You're great tonight. According to the UN, the world population is now growing at its slowest rate since 1950. And it's hard to imagine how slowly it would be going without Elon Musk. It'd be even worse.
Don't even get that one. But
he has like 10 kids now. It just came out that he had like twins with someone who wasn't his wife. Yeah. Okay, so you do know what he's talking about. Okay. India is enduring a brutal heat wave, so please remind your tech support operators to stay hydrated. What? What? Oh, no, it took them a while, but they got it. Economists report an increase in shrinkflation. That's when products shrink, but the prices stay the same. I noticed this at the convenience store today when I bought a bottle of 4-Hour Energy. You can just boo those. That's fine. I like those jokes, but if you want to boo them, I understand. According to a new poll,
I'm going off script, and I'm trying to be honest about my reactions.
So. Okay. According to a new poll, 70% of Americans think a recession is coming. The other 30% notice it's already here. Okay. Yeah, your opinion's noted. The economy is getting worse, though. To give you an idea of how bad it is, last night I saw a mafia family eating at the Olive Garden. Sabaros, I don't know. According to the Globe magazine, Elton John is packing on the pounds. Big weight gain. Did you see his pictures, Pugs?
No, but why not? Big old fancy queen.
Look, to give you an idea of how big he is, he has a new song called Jenny and the Craigs. That's a fat joke. You're supposed to do the Cena for fat jokes.
You could have gone with Goodbye Yellow Brick Oven Pizza.
Oh my God.
Could have gone with never mind.
Calzone in the Wind.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Before leaving for the Middle East, President Biden hosted the annual congressional picnic. To give you an idea of how unpopular Congress is, when they arrived at the picnic, all the ants left. According to a new poll, Congress's approval rating has fallen to 15%. To put that in perspective, 16% approve of the Uvalde Police Department.
15%. Boo! Boo to you, Congress. 15%.
He's a witch.
But it's only everybody else's guy. It's not your guy. It's not my guy. My guy's great. I reelect my guy every single time. I like him. I met him once at a pancake breakfast, and he's got my vote for life. But all the other guys, they suck. My guy's great.
Right. According to a new study, people who spend more time outdoors lead more fulfilling lives. So I guess it's just more good news for the homeless.
I thought that was kind of funny.
In Brooksville, Florida, a 28-year-old man was arrested for performing a lewd act on himself in a cemetery. The police say everyone grieves differently. A 39-year-old man has set a world record by collecting 9,364 unique items of Power Rangers memorabilia. So he's either the best babysitter ever or the worst babysitter ever.
One of the two.
Today is Pet Fire Safety Day, and not a moment too soon. Last night, I caught my dog playing with matches. It was on this day in 1948, Alcoholics Anonymous was founded. Tonight, to commemorate the anniversary, I'll have a drink. Alcohol is so delicious. And finally, thank God, Pugs, happy birthday to police drummer Stuart Copeland. I don't want to say he's getting old, but he and the band have a new song called, any guesses?
A prescription in a bottle?
Message in a bottle of Ensure. Message in a bottle of Ensure. That was the and finally.
Hey, James, fun fact about Stuart Copeland. You know that it was Stuart Copeland who was standing in line with me when Kim Kardashian explained the difference between red and green salsa at the Emmy or at the Grammy Awards one time.
That's so cool.
It was
Like
me and
that's
Stuart
just
Copeland.
right. Dude, I love those little mini stories where you're just adjacent to something significant going on.
And we just sat there and we let her explain it all. And every once in a while, me and Stuart Copeland would look at each other and go, well, Kim Kardashian's telling us. Just shut up. It's actually good info.
I think I'll have the green one then. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been a Green fan ever since. She likes her salsa. All right. A lot of things going on today. I chuckled during the monologue when you mentioned Elon Musk and all of his kids. It wasn't because I was confused about Elon Musk's situation with all of his kids, because he just recently, within the last couple of days, it's been revealed that he's got two more. He just had like two like a month ago, and now it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, I got these two other ones living out in Santa Barbara. Some former Tesla executive that he knocked up or whatever the deal is. Now, the only reason we know about that, James, it's because of this lawsuit, right? Where the stewardess is suing him and saying that she sexually harassed him. And he said, I have never had any inappropriate relationships with people who've worked for me. And then in Discovery, they went, dude, you knocked up an exec and you got two kids. So that's how we know about that now. So, well, I guess
that hurts his case, doesn't it? That's not what the lawyer was hoping for, the guy that has to defend him.
I'm sure he can explain it. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation why he says he's never had an inappropriate relationship with someone who's worked with him while simultaneously having twins with someone who used to work with. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the reason I chuckled is because did you see today his dad? His dad is getting into it now. See, Errol Musk. You see what's trending about Errol Musk?
I'm under the impression he has nothing to do with his dad and hasn't since he was like 13 or something crazy like that. Isn't there like an estrangement?
I believe that there is some degree of estrangement, but I also think that there is also a bit of a relationship there. Whether it's good or not, I don't know. But it's not like I haven't spoken to him since 1980. You know what I mean? It's not one of those deals.
Okay.
But it is like, yeah, my dad's an idiot. But I don't know. His dad probably still has a nice car. You know what I mean? So he probably, I don't think he's being completely shut down. Like, hell, he's not like a kin of Dr. Dre, just getting completely shut down. Elon Musk's lusty dad, Errol, James, has finally...
Wait, he's lusty?
He's lusty.
Who the hell says lusty? What kind of porn are you reading?
Oh, yeah. Not only that, but you're talking about a 76-year-old creeper, dude. In
I
the
know.
story's creep. Story ain't good.
Is this Hustler Magazine? What are you reading?
It's the New York Post.
Lusty?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Musk patriarch, 76, welcomed... Okay, excuse me. Elon Musk's lusty dad, Errol, has finally revealed that he has sired a secret second love child with his stepdaughter.
Okay, he's starting to sound lusty.
So Elon Musk's dad has now admitted that he has two bastard children with his stepdaughter, with a girl that he raised since she was 4 years old. And then she grew up, and old lusty Errol Flynn. Everybody knows old Lusty. That's what he's known by in those parts. Old Lusty couldn't... And here's one of the... He was trending with Woody Allen. He got Woody Allen trending because people were like, this is just like Woody Allen with his step... No, it's not like Woody Allen and his stepdaughter. Woody Allen hadn't even met Soon-Yi Previn until she was 19 years old, fully grown, and came to New York to go learn about NYU. And it was Mia Farrow who was like, Woody, you got to show her you have no relationship with her. And then he was like, yeah, I don't even know this chick. All right. That's different than bringing a 4-year-old, you know what I mean? Like having a 4-year-old stepdaughter suddenly come into your house and you go through puberty with her, first dances. No,
That's
you know what I'm
weird.
saying? There is a far sicker kind of thing. The Musk patriarch, 76, welcomed the baby girl with Jana, 35, back in 2019, but only confirmed the news on Wednesday, bragging to The Sun, the only thing we are on Earth for is to reproduce. It sounds like something you'd say. It sounds like the kind of line you'd roll out.
That sounds exactly like something I would say. I'm sure I've said that before.
The two children, the two stepdaughter and Elon Musk's dad, and Elon Musk's dad's stepdaughter already share two 5-year-old. Wait, the two already share a 5-year-old boy, Elliot, born in 2017. Okay, so now they have a daughter too. Errol clearly shares his most famous son's hearty desire to procreate with his admission coming just a week after it was revealed Elon fathered two children with an executive at his AI company, Neuralink. Okay, I thought it was Tesla, but let's see here. Errol admitted Janet's pregnancy was unplanned. The pregnancy with the stepdaughter, unplanned, James? You think?
All right, look, I'm starting to do math now. He's what? Did you say 76?
He's 76, she's 35.
Gross.
First baby was born in
Okay,
2017.
all right. Now let's start doing math. He got with her mom, and she moved in. They moved together. He became her stepdad when she was 4.
4 years old, yeah.
Okay, so that was 31 years ago when he was 45.
Okay.
So he was 45 and my age, and a 4-year-old moves in with me. She's going to grow up, and I'm going to sire 2 children with her in 30 years. That's weird.
You think? You think there's something a little bit creepy there?
Yeah,
The
definitely.
Musk family tree is complicated, James, and it's growing more and more by the day. Errol has 7 children, while Elon has now fathered 10
Yeah.
offspring.
Jealous. I am jealous. I have 4.
Not me. I'd maybe like to have one in spare, one spare just for parts. But
Well, you need to fall in love and find a soulmate, and then actually do that one kid.
I don't want to do that. I like the one I got. The one I got's pretty good.
You don't have to give him up if you have another one. You get to keep him too.
No, I know. But I don't really want to. I mean, I kind of like that there's only one. I kind of like that there's this like unspoken bond.
You won't that there when there's 2. You'll be glad that there's 2.
And I don't know. I'm an only one. I don't. This is what I understand. I understand one-on-one, only one, and that's what he is. All right. So, but here's the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Do you remember back in the early days of us doing this every night? One of the top stories that we were following for a while was the crazy Murtaugh family out of South Carolina. Tell me what you remember about these folks.
So there was like a 19-year-old who died in 2015. That was I had to go read up on this before the show because I didn't really remember it. But I remember his housekeeper died a couple years ago, and then he sued himself and got like a $3 million settlement and then stole it from the family. And then he came home and supposedly found his wife and son dead, called the cops, and they pretty much quickly pieced it together like, dude, you have their blood splatter on you.
Well, that's what brings us to today. So the Murtaugh family is very powerful, very politically connected, very wealthy family in South Carolina, Hampton County, to be more specific. Over the course of the past, 7 years now, I think it all started, James, in 2015. That sounds about right. This particular wing of the important Murtaugh family in South Carolina has just been unraveling gloriously, and it's everything. Okay, so today, Alec Murdaugh, who is the father, the patriarch of this particular wing, the guy who seems to be at the epicenter of everything crazy that's going on, he's been in jail for quite some time for financial crimes. That's what they're finally. I'll go through the litany of all of the madness that has been going on. We've got a little timeline that we can go through. We've got that. But what eventually he is behind bars for currently are just white collar stuff, embezzling from a family law firm, and what James mentioned, which was he basically got a settlement from an insurance company for the death of his housekeeper, and he never gave any of that money to the housekeeper's family, who it was supposed to be for. He just kept it. Today, that all changed. Today, here's the story just to get you all brought up and why this has been trending all day and why people are talking about the Murdaugh family again. This happened, was this in South Carolina? Or I thought he was facing other things in Florida.
I think it's South Carolina.
Yeah, it's South Carolina. Disgraced South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh has been indicted for the 2021 murders of his wife and son by a Colleton County, South Carolina grand jury. So that's what happened this morning. These are murder charges. Finally, the charges are, because white collar, he was looking at like 20, 30 years in prison, whatever. But now we're getting into the murder charges. So let's run down. And James did a nice job of kind of just drawing with broad strokes the history here. But it all began, this wealthy, privileged South Carolina, politically connected family. They run the police departments. They run everything. They run the local little village councils and all that kind of shit. They're basically like feudal lords in this little part of the country. So 19-year-old Paul and his girlfriend and two other couples decide they're going to go out and they're going to party. Oh, man, this is what they do down there in South Carolina. You get a boat, you go out in the swamps, you load up with some beer, you buy some beer with a fake ID, whatever, you party. So they go out, 6 people on this boat, a little boat, so it's a little bit cramped up, but it's a speedboat. And Paul and his girlfriend, Paul Murdaugh and his girlfriend, they're not really getting along the way the other two couples are. The other two couples are making out, and Paul and his girlfriend aren't really. And so he starts drinking excessively, and he starts becoming wild and unpredictable, and everybody's yelling at him. They wanted this other kid, Connor, to start driving the boat, but Paul was like, I'm a Murdaugh. He's doing that whole thing. No one drives my boat. Well, Paul drives the boat right into what's known as a dolphin head, which is a 3-pronged, almost like water breaker device underneath bridges to keep the boats from going into the sides of the bridges. And just at full speed, racing at night while drunk off his ass, this rich kid basically crashes the boat into one of these dolphin heads underneath a bridge. One of the little girls, 19 years old, goes flying from the boat. She's not found for a week later. She's dead. They rescue the other 5. They pull them out. The police are there. Now, here's what's interesting about this. Nobody was ever put in handcuffs. Nobody was ever, there was a dead girl. There was a missing girl that was dead. They were drinking alcohol. And I was watching earlier today on YouTube raw footage from the police cam. James, did you see any of this stuff from the night of the boat accident?
I did not see the boat accident footage.
Oh my God. You've got the Murdaugh kid with the whole off in the distance. Call my dad. Call my, doing that whole thing, and then
Is he really saying call my dad?
No. No.
Okay.
I'm glad you called me out on that, because no, he was basically, you could hear he was laughing, and he was being kind of a dick about it. He was being kind of like, do you know what this is? I'm not going to jail. He did say something like that. But what you absolutely do hear is you hear his buddy, the guy whose girlfriend is missing. He just happens to be sitting on the hood of a police car with a camera that's just like right next to him. So you hear everything that he is saying, and you see everything. He's crying. He's sobbing. He's like, you killed my girlfriend. He did it. Put him in handcuffs, but you know who his family is. Good luck trying to convict him. Yeah, that is all clear as day. That is what the best friend of the missing girl is screaming at this kid. Okay, so months go by, no indictment, nothing. Nobody's getting in trouble for this. It's just 3 kids. Obviously, people start talking in the town about, well, this is the Murdaughs getting away with it. A couple of years go by. There's still no indictment, no nothing. 19-year-old Paul Murdaugh is running free. Now, after about 2 years, the pressure in the local judicial circles gets too much, and they have to start moving forward. And just as they were going to move to indict young Paul Murdaugh, oh my God, a tragedy occurs on the Murdaugh farm. Young Paul Murdaugh, who's about to be indicted for the death of this girl, and his mom have been shot and killed execution style on the Murdaugh's farm. And it's dad who found him. All right, so now we got that. These are the murders that the dad was indicted for today. Now, in between all of that, there was a gay kid at the high school, Stephen Smith, who was being picked on by Buster Murdaugh, who was the older boy. Stephen Smith was run down in the middle of the road, hit and run accident, killed. All the kids in the car say Buster Murdaugh did it. Then you've got a situation where there was the nanny and the nurse of the Murdaugh family, who had raised both Buster and Paul, the boys. They called her. They thought she was their grandma. She falls and breaks her neck and dies in the Murdaugh home in a slip and fall accident. That's covered by homeowners insurance that the Murdaugh family cashes in and then never shares with her family. So that was mysterious. And there's another one. Isn't there another one that I'm missing? You've got the two You got mom and son are murdered. You got the dead girl on the boat. You've got Stephen Jones, the gay kid who was being bullied by Buster, and then you've got the uh,
Nanny,
the nanny. I
the
thought,
housekeeper.
and then when all of this is being put together about a year ago, when people are starting to go, man, this Murtaugh family is all over the place. The father, Alex Murdaugh, hires a guy to kill him so that he will then get to pay off the insurance policy. If he's murdered, his life insurance will pay off, but if it's suicide, it won't pay off. So in the middle of all of this, Alex Murdaugh tries to hire a hitman. That goes terribly wrong. That's embarrassing. It doesn't go off. Now suddenly they've got the hitman in jail. He's talking. He's going, well, hell, he just paid me to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. And the attorneys are now saying that he's a victim of the opioid crisis. That is the current defense that they are going with. That Alex Murtaugh, the attorney, who also while all this was going on, he was stealing money from his family's business. He's in jail because he stole like $10 million from his family's law firm. James, there you go. You're all caught up. Finally, they got some murder charges on this guy. Thoughts on the whole Murtaugh family?
I'm often interested in these people that do the life insurance fraud because what do you care? You're going to be dead. Why are you trying to set people up or whatever?
It's
You
called
know,
compassion. It's called, see, James, now again, this is where you're lacking. It's called caring about the people in your life. It's
you
about
won't know any
actually,
different. You'll be dead. What do you care? I don't know. I always find that these people that get looped up into these, it's not like it makes logical sense what the hell they're doing anyway. But I wonder how many of these Murtaugh families exist out there and get away with crap, and we don't hear about it in the news. Like sort of the boss hog scenario.
that is
Uh,
exactly how I look at it in my head. And James, I was thinking this exact same
It's a
thing.
hazard. Is that
There's
what you're thinking?
I
Yeah.
bet you well, when I was reading up on this, I'm like, here's how I was putting in my head. Okay, this isn't real power. Like, this isn't a family with like the last name Bush or Kennedy, you know what I mean? Or Obama. This isn't real power. This is if it happens in this county, I say so. This is like a in the particular universe verse where this power exists, this power is absolute. But, again, they have to wait in line when the president comes to town to get their picture taken. You know what I mean? It's not like superpower. So that level of power, the level of power that we're talking about, this Murdaugh family, they go back in this county for like 100 years. They've been Solicitor General in this county since like the Civil War. There's been a judge, they've been judges, law firms, all that stuff. They own everything. Every piece of spare land in the county is owned by this company. Every single county in America has a family like this. And they're all like
No.
just horrible, right? And some counties probably have multiple families like this, competing families.
Yeah, I bet you this family, I mean, this county included, they have multiple families that are sort of in that upper echelon. But, I'm sure some of them operate for the greater good. Some of them are more or less corrupt than others. But this one is just got Netflix written all over it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what are we 8 months away from the Netflix special on these guys?
there's already a number of them. I think there's a big 2-hour 2020 special that's on Hulu that you can see. Yeah, no, they're all over the
Oh,
place.
they
So,
already have some on this
oh,
family?
oh my God, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
all premature then. That's like making
Well,
an OJ special right after the car chase.
but there was so much crazy stuff that you could do that. You could fill a full 2 hours with this crazy ass family. Now, you're from a small town,
Yep.
and
Back in it right now.
I'm not from a small town, but I come from a neighborhood system, and they're not altogether different. I mean, the neighborhood is the neighborhood. Your small town is your small town. Outsiders are not welcome. It's that whole kind of thing. Is this where you're from? Yeah, this is where you're from then. Um, I mean, I knew who the important families were in my neighborhood, but I mean, did you have somebody in Tyler or Chapel Hill, wherever the hell it was that you grew up outside Tyler? Was there like a family that owned the car dealership and they owned the bar in town and they also owned all that land? Was there any one family like that?
No, not really.
Really?
No, I mean, look, there was some corrupt facets of life, like
Well, no, I'm
for
not
the
talking about corrupt. I'm talking about, is there a family? Like, is there a founding? Every town in America seems to have a founding family. You're telling me you didn't have one that you recognized as that family when you were growing up?
it seemed like we used to have one like 100 years ago. There was the Caldwell family that owned most of town, and so there's Caldwell Theater downtown, our big Coliseum thing, whatever downtown's called, the Caldwell
Mhm.
Theater. The, I went to Caldwell Play School, which was a free preschool provided by the Caldwell Foundation. We have the Caldwell Zoo. We have
All right, so it sounds like the Caldwells. Sounds like if you were in high school, you could do worse than dating little Jenny Caldwell, right? She was from the right side of the tracks, and
yeah, but there's nothing like that today. I mean, the Caldwells. I don't
really,
want to say, yeah. The well, look. Also, we have just like sort of crippled our officials. We have very, very loose zoning laws. They don't have a whole lot of inspectors and code
yeah,
enforcement and
but I just imagine that
crime
there are
and stuff.
towns all over Texas that are just run by a family, by a
It
family
probably
that is just
it would probably have to be a little bit smaller than Tyler.
yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know. But again, you brought it up, and it was so apropos. The boss hog analogy.
Hmm.
That's that's what I imagine. The
That's what
corrupted
I imagine when
control.
I hear this story. Yeah, these people.
Sure, if it goes far enough, the state police will get involved and probably overturn all the corrupt stuff that was happening under Boss Hogg's watch. But in
Hmm.
that moment, you get caught in Boss Hogg's county, he can make your life. He is king. He can make you
Yeah.
disappear.
So
You
so
know?
Tyler's like 100,000 people. I think the Boss Hog scenario has to be in a town of 20,000 or less. And so there's scenarios around here where I think, like, did you ever see the movie Bernie with Matthew McConaughey and Jack Black?
Yeah,
Where
no, but
where
I'm
Jack
familiar with it, but I've never
Oh,
seen
okay.
it.
Okay. Well, it's a true story, and it happened about an hour east of where I'm at right now. But it kind of has the scenario where they had to move the murder trial to another county because the jury was too favorable, and no one had ever seen that before in legal history, basically on a murder like this. Anyway,
But the jury liked him, the
no,
murderer?
everyone in town, the lady that got murdered was the heiress for the guy who used to be sort of the baron of the town,
Okay.
like the boss hog of the town, but everyone
All right.
loved him. He was a good guy, but his wife was a total B. And so when he died and she inherited all these millions, she just made everyone's life a living hell. And one of the guys that she was harassing to death kind of snapped and killed her. And so they were all just going to acquit him. They were like, thanks. And so they had to move the trial because they couldn't find an impartial jury. Everyone wanted to let him go because they hated her.
I'm sorry. I'm going through this list, this timeline here of the.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey was in Bernie. He was the prosecutor that had to move it to Angelina County or something like that.
All right. All right. Well, I don't know. I got nothing else. I got nothing else on the Murtaugh
Hmm.
thing. It was just nice to see it come back around in the news
It's
cycle.
cool when you have a story with that many branches on the
Oh,
tree going
love
on.
this stuff.
All right, so Ivana Trump dies.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
I
yeah.
had thought this. Yeah, Carthage. That's right, Leslie. That's where it happened. Carthage, not the Carthage, but there's one in East Texas too.
You mean not the Carthage of Hannibal fame?
Yeah, the Punic Wars.
Okay.
So Ivana Trump died. I thought that she was on the Czechoslovakia ski team. It turned out she wasn't, but that
I
was
thought she
something.
was too. Oh, what was that? Some PR nonsense that got floated out there, tossed out there like 25, 30 years ago? Because I
Well,
thought she was an Olympic skier.
it says okay. So for what Wikipedia is worth, which people poo poo Wikipedia, but it's pretty good. It says in 1989, the Secretary General of the Czechoslovak Olympic Committee denied the claim and stated that despite searching extensively, no record could be found of her involvement. So, and there's no footage or whatever because she says she was elected as an alternate on the Czechoslovakian ski team for the 1972 Winter Olympics. So
That
I
is
think
something
she might have.
that's something that Donald made up. He said it somewhere in 1979 when he was dating her. There was some like walking some red carpet. She was an Olympic skier, and then she just went. Okay, and it became a thing, and then she had to run. Isn't that totally the kind of thing you would make
It was
up?
like a BS story that they
Yeah,
just let slide.
but it makes you think she's cooler. Like it's a cool thing to have hung around her neck. That's a nice little resume piece. And I can see like a Donald Trump back when he was dating Ivana, thinking, well, she's not only about she's an Olympic skier, she's an athlete. Everything he's got is the best and the greatest. So I'm
Right.
starting. It's starting to make sense. Maybe that was just PR nonsense. All
Yeah,
started
she's not
because
just some bubble-headed bottle blonde with a funky accent. No. She's literally an Olympian. She's an elite athlete.
yeah.
She's the best skier in the world. She was on the Olympics. Believe me, everybody loves her.
Willie Wan Johnson says Ivana was electrifyingly hot when she was 31.
I'll agree to that.
I do not at all. I was looking at pictures of her. I never thought she was attractive, like even when I was 10 years old and saw her for the first
Really?
time. Yeah, no, never really. I thought she always looked a little. But I was looking at a whole bunch of pictures of her today, because obviously she passed away, and I was like, yeah, no, she's not that hot. Melania, way hotter, way hotter. Ivanka,
Okay.
way hotter. Ivanka,
Yeah.
way hotter than her mom. But even Marla Maples, way hotter than I thought
Yeah.
Ivana was. I don't know. I just thought, well, it was Cold War, man. She was a tall Eastern European blonde. It looked good on any young man about town's arm. I think that's what it was. Russian. She was mysterious. What was she though? She wasn't Russian, right? Isn't she like something else? Czechoslovakian or something?
Yeah, she was like Slovakian, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, she was supposedly in the Czechoslovakian ski team, and she was from Czechoslovakia, but
Yeah.
that's it.
All right. Got anything else? Anything else on her? Do you want to get into? Any
Well,
thoughts on
on
the fashion?
Ivana Trump, you kind of already did it. Like, where would you rank the wives? It would be Melania's hottest, Marla
By
second,
far.
Ivana third.
Yeah. It would be if we're ranking. Are we ranking the daughter wife? Is it that did you mention Ivanka? Because I think she's the hottest of them all. I think of all of them that Ivanka is number one. But you're right. Okay, so we're ranking the wives. That's an easy one. It's Melania, and then it's the one with the big eyes, the big cow eyes. She looks like a
Marla
shrink.
Maples.
Marla Maples. It's Marla
Yeah.
Maples. Although most unattractive daughter is Tiffany. I think Tiffany's the one that I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
What? I can't say
Agreed.
she's not what she's up
Well,
against
you
these
say
young.
most unattractive out of what, 2?
Yeah, and right.
Okay.
That is the caveat because the one that she's being compared to is like a smoke show 10.5,
Yeah, you
right?
could
I
just
mean,
say less attractive.
that's got to be a come down. Like I can see why Donald looks at Ivanka and then looks at Tiffany and is kind of like back looking
Well,
at
if
his
someone's
mom.
gonna be an a-hole around here, it should be me.
I don't know. All right.
So she
So
was only 73, that's kinda weird.
no, what'd she die of? Do we know? Do we know what
I
happened?
think she fell down the stairs or something.
She was visiting the Murtaughs over in South Carolina.
Right.
No, are you kidding? Seriously? You heard that she fell down the stairs?
I no, I shouldn't say things like this without reading more into it. I saw the headline that she was found at the bottom of a staircase.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Did we know if
She
she
coulda
was
had a
sick?
heart attack, huh?
Like, was she sick? Like, do we know, like, was there like 4 years ago she was battling cancer or something like that?
Bro, I might just wanna click through and read one of these stories because we're really running our
Why would you
mouth
want to do
on
that?
this
It's just
one.
you and me talking.
I know that that's what it feels like, and you can kind of run away with that, but no, it's
Mm.
yeah, found it at the bottom of the staircase, and it turns out it was Professor Plum in the library with a
Oh,
candlestick.
look at that.
Take
Clue
this as
jokes.
serious as possible.
Clue jokes. Yeah, I'm trying to.
No, she was found at the bottom of the staircase and believed to have suffered a cardiac arrest, but the official cause of death hasn't been announced.
Yeah. All right. Well, they would have mentioned. It would have said something like, "Who has been battling, this disease for the last 4 years?" If there was something public.
Yeah, or if there was like a cop kneeling on her back or something, they would have said something.
Yeah.
Do
Are those the two scenarios? That's
do
two
the
of them.
ricochet again, man. Take some of that sting off.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Lighten it up.
All right. James, got anything else? What else is happening in the world today that we can
Stop
discuss?
being so dark. So the one thing I wanted to discuss as well. Oh, you know what? Yesterday when I had to leave abruptly, I did come back
Mhm.
later and watch the video, and you said you had something that you wanted to do, but I needed to be here. Like you had prepared something to bounce off of me, and I was going to ask you what that is. But then I have this other gossipy thing too. So do,
Yeah, no, never mind. I'm gonna do that. I decided it'll be on Monday. It's a question. It's a good conversation piece, so it'll be good with me, you, and Kelly. But go ahead, do whatever you want to
Uh,
do. If not, I
okay.
got
So,
something.
well, good. I'm glad you said that because but the other thing I wanted to bring up with you tonight is the Kelly situation where she every time we talk to her, she talks about how much she argues with her husband.
Yeah.
Every time. It's like a sitcom character at this point.
Where you going with this, James? It's very awkward.
Yeah, get a divorce or shut up. Like,
Well,
just
not that easy.
it's not, and I know I sound like an a-hole saying it,
Oh.
but I don't know. I marvel at these people, and you know, I'm just a lucky one. By the grace of God, go I. But dude, if you are arguing with your significant other every day, I'm not a fan of divorce, but perhaps you married the wrong person.
Well, no, that's not true.
I know it can't be that simple, can
It
it?
can't be that simple or
Right.
that reductive. People, uh, I mean, I guess it all depends on what you were raised by. I mean, I was raised essentially in a house with a grandma and grandpa who fought every single day and night of their 70 years together, screaming matches, yelling and screaming. So for me as a little kid growing up, that all seemed very natural. And I think that in my own relationships, when I get a little bored, I look to stoke passions. And, passions come in a variety of flavors. Sometimes they're screaming at one another over who left the garage door open. You know what I mean? So there are types of people who thrive with other people who like to argue and yell. Um, I don't think you would. It sounds like you have absolutely no,
No,
yeah,
no,
patience for that.
no. But you remember Nan? I dated Nan for a while. The one that had the twin worked at Down Under.
Yeah.
Remember Nan? Okay.
Of
So
course.
she was like that, and her parents like screamed at each other when she was growing up. And so every once in a while, she would get upset and start screaming at me, and I wouldn't scream back because I don't scream. And I got the feeling from her, like I was learning from her, like that would make her more upset. Like, if you're not into this enough to scream, like,
Yeah.
do you even feel anything for me? Like, do you even love me? I mean, is this even like you don't care? You don't care enough to scream? No, I don't care. I don't
I
care
well,
any
I totally get her wondering about that.
kinda, yeah. I
Where's your
kinda do too.
passion?
I'm just
Where
different.
Yeah.
Like it's she's not necessarily wrong. We're just different. And if somehow you need me to get, I don't know, punch a hole in a wall or whatever to prove how serious I am about my love for you, then you can just go find someone else, and I'll
Yeah,
find
but
some girl that
you're also you're not a volatile guy. I've never
no.
seen you be like, okay, so like when you and Eric were working with us, Eric was the volatile one. Eric was the one that was all emotions bubbling over the top at all times. You were more even keeled, which made us think you were a bit more sociopathic, but you were a little
Mhm.
bit, you didn't wear your heart on your sleeve and you were a harder book to read.
Yeah, not
Um,
psychopathic, sociopathic.
Sociopathic. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we all are. I mean, that's part of being a part of a human being in society. But yes, you had some interesting tells that I picked out. Uh, you are difficult to get a rise out of. That is. Would that be fair to say? Like
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
we could f with you mercilessly when you were a producer, and your thing on the radio was that you would just take it. You would just be like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't
Yeah,
care.
it's
What do you
great.
want me to say? Yeah, what do you want me to say?
Man.
Whereas Eric and other people would fight back, right? Where there would be like, screaming. So you've always been that way. And it looks like you've got a wife who is also that way. And so you guys, I don't know what to tell you. I couldn't be in a relationship with I gotta yell. I gotta scream and yell.
No, it works for
And be
us.
screamed and yelled at, I should point out. I gotta be screamed because that it works both ways.
It's funny you bring this up. When I was working at the moving company before I even worked with y'all, I worked at a moving company, and it was a different social environment because it was 100% male. There's not one female that's on any of the crews that you ever moved with. And word got around that old James, like you couldn't make him mad. He didn't get mad at anything. And it was great because if a customer was upset, they would send me to go talk to him, and so they'd be yelling
I
me up
went
and down. Yeah, and I would say, "Oh man, you seem really upset. What can we do for you?" and I'm just even killed, and that would calm them down. So they would bring
Mhm.
me in as kind of like this cooler, right? And so I had two roommates, and they also worked at the moving company. And we came home one day. They told them that they were telling the new guy, "I bet you can't make James upset. I bet you can't make James like scream at you. We'll give you $20. We'll buy your lunch if you can make James scream at you and get mad before lunch." And so there was this new guy, and he was giving me crap all day. And not only did it not work, I was loving it. This new guy was awesome. So like we would be like carrying a couch and I'd bump something. He's like, "You're the worst mover ever." I'm like, "Dude, I'm hung over." Okay. And so I was just having a good time with my buddy who's ribbing me. And I thought, this guy is really cool. He's already laid back. He's not too uptight. He's not nervous. He's just,
I don't think I would
no,
like a game where the object was to irritate me, but it sounds like you're an even keeled guy. You can take
for
a game like that.
for about 2 hours, and the guy was banging his head against the wall because I'm just so oblivious to the outside world that the more he tried to like make me mad, the more I was laughing. You know, he was like, "You are ugly. You have a big head." I'm like, "Yeah, like the movie Mask. Did you see that guy where Cher's son had like the huge head? That would kind of look like me if I was a ginger and my hairline receded a little bit. I would look a lot like that guy." And he would start laughing. And so we were just having a great time. We're just working, having a great time. And then he would tell me I'm like too tall, or I'm the worst ever, or I'm probably have an ugly girlfriend, or just he was trying to make me mad the whole and I didn't know. I didn't know, but it lasted until lunch.
Yeah, all right. Sorry, I'm just scanning for stuff. I don't want to.
What
I don't want to. We got 10 minutes here. I don't want to open up a whole nother kind of thing. Hey, so hey, I got something I got an observation for you. So remember I was telling you I was rewatching Entourage?
Yes, how's that
Yeah.
going?
All right, so we're done. We've made it all the way through. The Entourage, the show, it got labeled a douche show because it really did inspire the douche class out there. And
It's
sort
the
of
same reason people don't like Dane Cook. They don't like his
yeah,
fans.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like Dane Cook. I think Dane Cook is funny. It's the same thing with the Grateful Dead. Grateful Dead takes a lot of abuse for deadheads. I don't like Grateful Dead fans, and unfortunately, I think sometimes the music, in my estimation, suffers because I don't like the fans. What are you enjoying? I don't like you enjoying this. Whatever. Um, so Entourage, great show. It was a great show. I thoroughly enjoyed my rebinge. Just ripped through all 8 seasons and the movie. The movie was a piece of horse shit, by the way. Just tagged the end of the series with the 2-hour movie. But James, I started watching something else. This is all a part of my. I wish I made millions and millions of dollars in Hollywood and am now my age and don't have to worry about money or work ever again. Bender that I'm on. It includes Curb Your Enthusiasm, where I'm living vicariously through Larry, who, come on, that's the life, right? All he does is walk around all day and go for coffee. He's got an office, he doesn't do anything. So I did Curb Your Enthusiasm, I did Entourage, and now I'm doing a show. James, did you ever see the David Duchovny show, Californication?
No, I did not.
God, is it good?
Now,
I'm
did
really binging it
they
now.
wasn't the irony is he was making that show while he was going to rehab for sex addiction?
Yeah. Yeah. So Californication is it's in the same universe. As a matter of fact, you could do a really cool Curb Your Enthusiasm Entourage Californication mashup show where you
Okay.
could have all of those shows crossing into it. Because, Curb Your Enthusiasm is Larry David. He's a celebrity. He's basically set in Santa Monica is where Curb Your Enthusiasm is primarily set. Then you've got then you've got Entourage. They were set in Beverly Hills, but then they also moved to Malibu. So you had those two places. And then Californication is set in the Hollywood Hills. Californication, David Duchovny plays an author, a famous author, best-selling author, whose books have been turned into hit movies that he despises. So that's basically the jumping off point. He's a guy in his early 50s. He probably wrote the best stuff of his life, cashed in huge in Hollywood. Hollywood took a big old shit on his book and turned it into a bad Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes movie that he
Was
hates.
this like Michael Crichton? Is that what this is?
Yeah, it's just kind of
John Grisham?
so he's angry, he's bitter, he's an alcoholic, and he's a sex addict. And he has sex 3-4 times a day. And you're right, yeah. Well,
Uh-uh.
oh please, Californication is the whole thing is about this guy. When is he going to grow up? He's got a beautiful baby mama and a daughter, a teenage daughter. When is Hank Moody going to grow up? Anyway, Here's what I've discovered after watching the Entourage Straight into Californication. Man, really attractive people have sex lives that pedestrians like you and me, we couldn't even imagine the way these things. I mean, though, I'm talking about really attractive people. Like, I have never walked into a place, and never should I. I mean, I know who I am. I'm self-aware. Never should I. But I mean, you walk into a bar and the hottest bartender in the place just jumps over the bar and runs up to you and like basically says, "I get off at 11." That has never happened to me. Attractive people get these kinds of things all the time. And I was trying to think of all the people you've ever known, who was in your life, and it could be a celebrity. I mean, probably won't be because we're regular people, but who is the greatest slayer you have ever seen? Like a person that just showed up and like could get any girl in the room. Did you have a guy like that growing up? Or even in your young adult life? Who was the best slayer ever?
The thing that comes to mind is I was in the neighborhood and I was at the Roundup. You know what the Roundup is, right?
No.
No, it's a country and western gay bar.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Oak Lawn. So I was in the Roundup with some guys I worked with. I worked at the Dream Cafe, and like half of the wait staff was gay, and so half the time we would go to straight bars after work, and half the time we'd go to gay bars. And so I went with Kevin, and I was actually Kevin's ride, and he said immediately, he goes, "Ooh, Ted's over there," and I looked, and I go, "Who's Ted?" And so it was Ted from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
Oh.
Well, I'd never seen an episode, but I'm in the Roundup, so I'm the only person in the entire place that's never
Oh,
seen
he's
an
a
episode.
Beatle. The Queer Eye guys were Beatles in that community.
Yeah,
Oh my
because
God.
this was 2002. This is when I was working for you. Uh, so this guy is like at a booth in the corner holding court, and it doesn't even look real. It looks like who's got the camera? Because this looks like a setup, right?
Yeah.
So he's sitting there with his arms out, and he's got a twink on one side and a twink on the other side, and people are asking him questions and taking pictures, and he's got his little, Rachel Maddow glasses on or whatever, and so Kevin just went over there and started talking to Ted. And then I look over there a few minutes later, and Kevin is one of the twinks under Ted's arm. And
Ooh,
yeah.
Kevin got picked.
Yeah. And so then I'm actually leaving with Stacy, a chick. Thank you very much. I know that's an
Because that name
androgynous
goes
name.
both ways.
I know. I just having fun. No, but it really was Stacy. So I'm leaving with Stacy, and she's like, "Well, can you go with me?" I'm like, "Well, I'm Kevin's ride, but I don't see Kevin here anymore." And so I'm having to ask around, "Do you see Kevin? Javier, do you see Kevin? JC, do you see Kevin?" And so finally, I was told that Kevin left with Ted.
Ooh. Did
So
you get a good story out of Kevin? Well, tell me what they did. They played baccarat, or did
Ted it was in one of the suites at the it's not the Hotel Jaja, or Jaja just the bar downstairs. What's the one?
It's Zaza. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hotel
He
Zaza.
was in a suite at Zaza
Oh,
because
oh.
that's where the network had put him up. Well, they were in town, and each one of the Queer Eyes had gotten a suite or whatever, and Kevin stayed there and played butt darts and got a ride home in the morning. They did the thing. That's yeah. So I had never seen a dude, because the thing is, that's the crazy thing about when you're in a gay bar. If you're the hottest dude in there, you're attractive to everybody. Now, if you're at a regular old straight bar, if you're the hottest dude in there, you might be attractive to half the bar. Half the bar is interested in you because the other half is dudes.
Yeah.
They're not there for you. You're only turning the heads of the chicks. Or conversely, if you're the hottest chick, you're only turning the heads of the dudes. But if you're the hottest guy in a gay bar, everybody was just focused this way.
It's a numbers thing.
Ted.
Yeah. There you go. Obviously. I would say the one that I have in mind when I think of like the guy who just walks around, or at least did years and years ago. This is going back a number of years. I don't want to, although he's not married, but I'm just, I'm saying this is just going back a while. So, it was me and Emil. Those of you who tune in regularly know Emil. He is the master of the property. It was me and Emil and Eric, our former producer on the Pugs and Kelly show. And we were just out on a Friday night. We were running around. We were meeting up with people throughout the course of the night. And one of the people that we were running around with back then, who wasn't there but was meeting us, was Anthony Dorsett Jr., Tony Dorsett's son. And we were
Oh,
at
cool.
we were at this, but now this was at the time when he had just retired. He had just retired from the NFL, and he was hosting a show on BET. So he was like a celebrity in the black. He was a black celebrity. You know, black people say like, "Oh, you're white famous, you're black famous." He was black famous, and he was at a TV show and all that stuff. We didn't watch it because we're not watching BET. I don't care about
Not
whatever that
watching
is.
Queer Eye, not
Right.
watching BET, right?
But he was a friend who hung out with us, and so it was cool. Dude, I have never seen. First of all, I remember him walking his way to the bar. I was like, "Where's AD? Is he coming?" He's going, "Oh, there he is. Here he comes." And Emil's like, "Here he comes. Look at him." And this dude comes walking through this crowded downtown Dallas bar like Shaft. I mean, I had never seen someone just own a room. He was wearing. All right, first of all, he's a pro athlete, right? So he's already looking good in the jeans and whatever it is that he's wearing. So he's a big, tall, strapping professional athlete. And he's and he's also a model, which is why he's got the BET show, because like he's also like super handsome. And he comes walking through and he's wearing this turtleneck sweater, this brown turtleneck sweater and a black leather jacket. No, it was a black turtleneck sweater and a brown leather jacket. And it was a gold chain on the outside. He just moves through the bar. We're standing there all by ourselves. Within 10 seconds of him showing up in our party, James, 3 rows deep of girls coming from all over the place. No, first of all, the only reason I'd be impressed because I'm not a homosexual man is because it's Anthony Dorsett's kid, right? It's Tony Dorsett's kid. That's cool. That in
Yes.
and of itself, I'm a football nerd. That in and of itself is cool. These people had no idea. They just saw this super attractive, masculine, together, confident guy walk into this bar, and the entire place just swooned. And that's the same thing that I get. I'm rewatching Entourage. The attention that Vinny Chase gets. Vinny Chase walks in anywhere, and it's just like pure magnetism. It's the same thing in Californication. It's the exact same thing that David Duchovny gets. Strippers throw themselves. And I'm like, I had the realization last night while I'm sitting there watching it. I'm thinking, you only live once. You really do. And, really? Are you telling me that? This is what I got. All right. So that whole thing, if you really only gonna live once, that's a really good trick to have in your bag. Don't you think, James? The one that just has women throwing themselves at you no matter what. You can say anything. You're so charming.
It might even be better than the ridiculously rich card because ridiculously rich card almost gets you to there, but you're not really there unless you're actually attractive. If they're just sleeping with you for your money, that's not the same kind of awesome feeling inside that you're some sort of superhero.
No, they might love you for other reasons, but they don't want to bang the snot. They're not lusty after you. They will love you.
Right. And
Ultimately,
so
they might love you more than they love the guy that bangs them right because they love you. But don't kid yourself. They don't. Yeah, it's the carnal knowledge.
yeah, so you would like to be the big stud like that, probably
Yeah.
more than you would like to be the rich guy. But somewhere along the rungs here, for people who don't get to go through that, is there a trade-off to be said for like at the end of my life when I'm 78 years old and I'm dying of stage 4 whatever cancer? The girl that's going to be like, there's going to be a woman that's next to my bed, not just some flighty guy. Is Californication going to have a
Me too.
woman next to his bed when he's going through stage 4 whatever?
Yeah,
And
he
it's
will because he's got a daughter. He's got Becca. He's got
yeah,
he's got his
but he's not
14.
going to have his soulmate. He's not going to have the love of his life.
He might. His
That
dance
the
card is
woman
full.
who's the one who's been next to you for 45 years or whatever, and it's the girl that you were with when all your kids were born. It was the woman you were with when you saw the Eiffel Tower. It was the woman
Well,
you were with when you made your
now,
money. And
now, James, if you watch the series, you'll know what you're describing is the common thread that runs through. There obviously is a woman that he's trying to win back the one woman, his soulmate. And yeah, she probably will be there. But I see what you say in the grander scheme. You know, the
And I'm
norm.
not out here shredding her heart like a food processor every day with my dong just going into random women. Right? It makes me
I
a
don't
more
know.
decent human being that God made sure I wasn't rich and studly, because I
I
would be
know.
abusing it too.
I know who I am. I have mirrors in my house. I know how old I am. I know what is over for me.
Oh, it's
And
over. Yeah.
it's right. But I watch these things and I go, man,
Would have been
maybe
nice.
would have been nice. I mean, at 15, I couldn't have started doing sit-ups. You know what I mean? Like at 15, what? At 15, instead of laying around eating grilled cheese, watching
Yeah,
TV all day,
watching Silverhawks,
I
Pee Wee's
just
Playhouse, or whatever.
I could have been a contender. I was adorable. Oh, and then the hair went. Oh, it was it was one thing after another. It was a downhill slide. You got the height, you got the size, you got the frame. You got a square head. And it looks a little bit like a block head, but you're okay. You're
I did a
okay.
lot with it. I did a lot for a while I
Oh
could.
yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
cashed in my chips and got out when I should.
You got out of the game. All right. All right, James. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. There he goes. That's James. We'll be back on Monday night. That'll be the next time. That's the next show we're doing. Yeah, I know. I know. Unless there's like some big piece of breaking news, then we'll jump in and give it to you. All right, folks. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us. Next week, starting on Monday, everything goes back to normal. No more camps, no more issues, no more things that I have to do during the day. So there you have it. So starting on Monday, everything goes back to normal. Thank you so much for being patient and putting up with this little interruption in at least the flow that we had established as far as doing 2 shows a day. 2 shows a day, one at noon and one at 9 p.m. Yeah, that's going to do it. Me and James are done now until Monday night, and we'll see you Monday afternoon for high noon right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. I am on a never-ending quest.